Hi, Synopsis recaps here again today. I will show you a criminal offense drama thriller movie from 2014 time with the gambler spoilers, and be careful and take care. Jim Bennett is sitting at his grandfather's loss of life bed. He is drawing his closing breath. He is one of the richest humans in California. He wishes his grandson no inheritance. Jim says he'll leave out him, however he calls his crime. Jim does now no longer care approximately his grandfather's wealth. He's simply unhappy that he is loss of life and relives the final reminiscences of him of his head. Jim visits an underground online casino with tight security. Exchanges in Stafford greenbacks for checks, the ones to a blackjack desk and bets all the chips on the primary hand on the subsequent, and he doubles his returned again. He seems on the digital digicam and doubles as horrific as though to taunt the safety guards after dropping one in every of his arms. He nevertheless seems like he desires to double his returned. Even without a chips, Jim calls the supplier, and novice needs of double. He loses 80,000 on a unmarried hand going to online casino 40,000. The devil comes as much as him and requested him. What's going on? Maybe if he desires to gamble for one rival. Neville high quality 10,000 in opposition to Jim's 500 on a hike. Our fitness center, Lizen appears unfazed with the aid of using what simply passed off. Never factors out that he's a man who loves to lose. So he proposes a mortgage to them which he declines. He is going to the proprietor of the online casino, Mr. Lee, and asks for any other mortgage. Mr. Lee explains to him that he got here to the online casino with 10,000 bucks, however as opposed to paying his love he gambled it away. The general quantity of movies is 240,000. He desires it, paid lower back in 7 days. June comes returned to Neville and asks him approximately the stake he provided 50,000. He says his hobby is high. Jim does now no longer care. He can pay off his debt to the online casino of 40,000 that he misplaced her in advance, and takes one blue chip 10,000 from the chip sign up and pass immediately to the blackjack desk. Supplier glances at pit boss. If she made a deal as earlier, then he doubles his bets and is going on a roll after going from 10,000 to 80,000. He receives a triumphing blackjack hand that can pay him 322, and he makes a decision to wager all on roulette. Black. It rolls prepared, losses. Of the waitresses Jim's student, Amy, who Jim acknowledges after the loss, the gang disperses and Mr. Lee is displeased with inside the morning. He leaves the online casino onto two big gangs, 7 days left. He's heading immediately for the campus. Jim is a literacy professor status freely in the front of his magnificence. And there he sees Amy. He appears herbal and assured Jim discredits novel writing as a career, announcing it is mediocre. There are lots of glad electricians. If you aren't a genius, do now no longer father. He factors to one of the boys with inside the elegance. His call is Dexter. He's an awesome tennis player. He asks him what he's after, the sport or the cash, reputation or virtue. Both, he replies. That's terrific. Continuing, this teach of thought. He fees and creator the distance Ian. Dear God. I suppose I am turning into a god. Earlier than pronouncing Amy beats him to it. On their laptop, Jim notes that Amy is the maximum nicely examined man or woman on this elegance. Noting that he slightly writes effectively organized to him. He asks her why she hides her writing. And attempts to healthy in. She says it is most secure to be with inside the middle. He begins off evolved to impeach her own circle of relative state of affairs, and while he does now no longer see any benefits like her mom or dad being writers or rich. He asks why she is higher than the relaxation of them. Ian's the lecture with the aid of using telling her to take a seat down wherein she belongs in the front of the magnificence, or she ought to now no longer trouble displaying up at all. Jim is traveling his mom Roberta. She is gambling, tennis in opposition to Dexter, a boy in Jim's elegance. He's her coach. She talks a great sport and says if he offers her one extra point, she'll fire. Jim is handiest there to call for cash from him. Roberta is aware of Jim is in trouble. She'd purchase it if he changed into searching out that means in life, however it truly is different. She factors out. He's now no longer narcissistic or stupid. He's her son. So what is the factor of his behavior? She has stated goodbye to humans. She cherished earlier than Jim. Yeah, anything befell to dad. He means that she may be a merciless woman. She tells him she can be able to now no longer deliver him any extra cash. Jim kisses her at the cheek and leaves. She appears beaten while he receives a name from Satan approximately his. He throws his telecell smartphone right into a pump. 6 days left, a person choices up Jim and drives him to France. He is a mortgage shark, who lends big sums of cash. After calculating how a whole lot Jim burns, he places him in his area and says that his every year income does now no longer even cover. He lists the entirety approximately Jim birth, education, intelligence, talent, appears, own circle of relatives, cash. Is all of it a actual burden in Frank assumes. Jim is dancing with the devil due to the fact there may be no cause he have to have in no way gained the Koreans cash, basically. With a mortgage Frank gives Jay he might get 160,000 greenbacks and might need to pay 10% hobby weekly, wherein could he get the cash? Jim simply says that he's going to get the cash. Frank tells him that he'll lend it to him. If he humiliates himself to position it in a nutshell. If he says he isn't always a person, Jim leaves. He's in a lecture corridor while Amy walks in, sits down. Asking him if he meant what he stated with inside the lecture, approximately her having talent. He solutions over the loudspeaker. Absolutely. Amy basically tells him that he is a genius, however, for Jim simply can't be given that. He comes nearer and tells her she has to leave. He can't have her right here. It's irrelevant. Maybe leaves without her bag and is derived again with Jim's EE book and requested him to sign. She desires to understand the fact approximately it, however he's going to now no longer open up. Amy requested him out. He declines and he or she leaves. 5 days left, Neville calls Jim, who has heard that he has approached Frank for a mortgage and inquires approximately his debt ceiling. He says, he did now no longer just like the terms, so he can get the cash in magnificence, certainly considered one among his. Who is continually at the telecell smartphone. Lamar says that he does not apprehend killing oneself and asks him how he may be depressed riding a BMW. Jim asks, does it seem like I'm satisfied? He's now no longer satisfied due to the fact he is coaching the present-day novel to a classroom full of college students who do now no longer care. He would possibly as nicely be stark bare at the table and no person will care. He's on this magnificence pretending to train with inside the college students or pretending to learn. He dismisses the elegance due to the fact he feels defeated and asks the tough to live behind. He asks him what he wishes to do to forestall the usage of his telecell smartphone. The faculty informed Jim to present him a great grade, despite the fact that he fails due to the fact he's a celebrity basketball player. Lamar explains. The fitness center isn't the simplest person who has issues in his life. He knows the message. He turned into sending all or not anything to be or now no longer to be. It is the identical for him. He desires to head season due to the fact he has a knee trouble and his own circle of relatives desires cash, all or not anything. It's as though Jim acknowledges himself and Lamar. Jim's car is towed as collateral for Neville's law. Jim's mom arrives in arms of a brand new telecell smartphone. He is pissed that she is sounds. She asks him if he nonetheless wishes assist with the cash. He says it truly is already been taken care of. When she says a thug has been in her house. He writes down the quantity of euros them. Jim says if he does now no longer pay, they may spoil each bone in his frame and pass after his own circle of relatives, to which Roberta slaps him and tells him he's a disgrace. They go to the vet. Roberta asks a financial institution clerk for $260,000 in coins and to now no longer ask any questions. She tells Jim that that is the remaining cash she can be able to ever provide him and that she can be able to disown him if he ever asks for greater. Jim does now no longer care approximately his mom. He tells her that they may be simplest speak me due to her finances. She walks away defeated. 4 days left. He drives as much as Jim, who changed into sitting on a bench, and tells him that if she has to have interaction in beside the point dating to get him out of his job, she's equipped to move. Some time later, they are out of abandoned location. Jim requested Sandy. What if I advised you, I produce other playing? She says that she isn't always one in all the ones. She believes him. Jim is an ideal example. He begins off evolved out and not using a issues whatsoever. Go out in their manner to have them all. He requested Amy to assist him begin over. They go to a neighborhood online casino on the blackjack desk. He trades 10,000 greenbacks for chips. That's $500 and upon getting a complete rating of 18, he asks for a double. It receives a 3, however it nevertheless appears like he's gambling for a loss. On the subsequent hand is going all I even have losses. He maintains re-shopping for and dropping after a while. Amy unearths Jim and asks, the whole lot, Grims. He explains his real emotions to England. He wishes all of it general victory. There isn't any gray area. You both take all of it or lose all of it, and he might as a substitute die than now no longer acquire him. Simply as he finishes he kisses him. He's searching out his cash after Jim tells him, he does now no longer have his cash. Neville asked him if he is aware of Lamar at home. He gets a message from Neville, announcing that the variety he gave him is now no longer Lamar's GG, a gun, and takes a swig of whiskey. Days left. Jim wakes up with Mr. Lee's gang in his house. They are concerned that Jim will try and do something to himself earlier than he will pay again his debt. Jim sits down in the front of Mr. Lee and that there's most effective one manner to pay lower back the day. He has to allow him some other 100,000 greenbacks. They take this as an insult and throw fitness center in a complete tub and force away as Jim leaves the bathroom.